Right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at Bayern Munich's Julien Nagelsmann's 4-2-3-1. Links down in the description as per usual. What I'd like you to do, smash a like on today's video. Muchly appreciated on these tactics videos. The more people that sees it, the better. Yeah, so go check out the link in the description. Let's go. It's a bit of an asymmetrical 4-2-3-1 as well. Lots of things to talk about. The positions of Davies, Muller, etc. Let's get into it. A massive thank you to the OneFootball app for sponsoring today's video. The OneFootball app is available free to your mobile devices and is available via the link down in the description. The best place to get all the league news, transfer gossip, results, even live football and match highlights. I am using the OneFootball app daily at the moment, keeping up to date with everything that is going on in La Liga. In particular, keeping up with my beloved Athletic Bilbao, watching their match highlights, news and gossip, interviews as well. Not only can you follow leagues and teams, but also players. I've been using it to follow individual players' performances, have a look at their in-depth statistics throughout the season, which helps me create the tactic videos you are currently seeing on the channel for Football Manager. Thank you once again to the OneFootball app. Link down in the description. Go check it out. Go download it. It does support the channel. Right, let's get back into today's video. All right, boys, so here we are. This is just a general 4-2-3-1 that I've set up, obviously Bayern in the red. What we're looking to do is try and replicate today is a few key things. We're looking to look at the role of Alphonso Davies on the left-hand side. We're also going to look at the role of Thomas Muller. And we're also going to look at two other things in terms of general play, which is a staggered build-up and also box occupation, getting players into the penalty area. All right, so obviously a 4-2-3-1 now. It's pretty much a staggered build-up. What we're going to see is Alphonso Davies being a real attacking threat. So we are going to push him up quite high in this tactic, which then does allow the number 11, which is sometimes Leroy Sané, to tuck in. This then leaves a sort of like a 3 at the back. You'll often see Pavard coming in, sitting a little bit narrow, a little bit of an inverted wing back. We're not going to use him as an inverted wing back. We're just going to fiddle with his player instructions today to get him to do what I want. So he often tucks in, but we'll still get round the sides if needed. We've obviously then got players like Sula and Upamecano. We've got a middle two of Kimmich and Goretzka, obviously Thomas Muller 10, Lewandowski 9, and Gnabry out on this right-hand side. So what we're going to try and do is recreate the staggered build-up. So what they often have at times is Gnabry getting very wide, Davies getting wide. Kimmich will come in, will sit in, often supports behind the ball, gets the ball off the centre-halves. Goretzka is that power, box-to-box midfielder. We'll then see Leroy Sané sitting in, and then Thomas Muller has literally this right-hand channel to come in. So there's a bit of a staggered build-up there, as you could see. This then gives Bayern the opportunity just to break lines a little bit better. Get in between players like Sané, Muller, get in between sort of like the back four and the midfield. You've got Kimmich, who will just be dropping in front of the midfield. Goretzka will make those forward runs as well. Pavard will often come into these areas, and obviously Alphonso Davies, if you look at his, I'll put a few of his average positions on the screen right now. His average position is very, very high. Even for a left-back, he gets forward. So that's the general build-up play. We're going to try and get that staggered approach. I have got some clips to show you as well how we've got that working. And the other one that Bayern try and do, I'll link a German video down in the description of Nagelsmann talking about box occupation. So basically, what he wants is as many people in the penalty area. So when people like Davies and Gnabry get into these wide areas, he wants as many players in the penalty box as possible. So you're looking at people potentially more like Kimmich kind of sitting out, Pavard, and then the two centre defenders. But they're looking at, depending on whatever side the ball's on, if it's on the left-hand side, you would see Gnabry coming in, and then if it was on the right-hand side, you would see Davies coming into sort of like these positions. The idea is that obviously more people in the penalty area then gives you more of a chance of getting rebounds, second balls, that sort of thing. And it also then sucks in the amount of defenders that they need in the penalty area as well. And then the other thing, apart from the rebounds and the second balls and stuff, is I've just put in the yellows now, is just to stop counter-attacks. Obviously, the more players that you're forcing into the penalty box, they're going to attract defenders and midfielders to come and follow them, which then means when the ball is cleared out, often they may keep, if we just keep a striker up here, they'll often isolate it up here because Sula and Upamecano generally stay back. It leaves a huge gap some of the time. If the striker goes in as well, and then the defenders will come in. Obviously, Neuer always has a high starting position, which then all of this combined stops a counter attack. Okay, so it's not just about second balls and rebounds; it's also about stopping the counter attack. Okay, so that was a little bit on the tactic board. So the things that we're looking, as I said, to replicate in FM22 in the match engine is the role of Alphonso Davies getting really high, really aggressive. The Thomas Muller, as I said, if you look at his average positions, he does like to drift into that right-hand channel a little bit more. So we don't want him necessarily in just right in behind the striker. We're also looking at that staggered build-up and box occupation, getting as many players in and around that penalty box as we can. So we can get those rebounds and also at the same time, we can stop that counter attack. Okay, this is what the tactic looks like. Here we are. Okay, so 4-2-3-1. We're going to go through player position by position because I have got a few instructions on. Okay, so Neuer, sweeper, keeper on attack. I've just done that because it's blatant Manuel Neuer. However, I do like to stay away from sweeper keepers, but sweeper keeper on attack. Here, Benjamin Pavard, all I've got him to do is a full back on support, and I've asked him to sit narrower. So it just helps out with the build-up play using a back three. He also comes into here. He also goes around the sides. He also does underlaps. He normally supports Gnabry, which is what I want. Sometimes the inverted wing back, he just gets them to roam just a little bit too much. And with the force of Davies down this left-hand side, we just need Pavard to be a little bit more clever. He's not an absolute gung-ho. He's not like a Cancelo or anything like that in terms of bombing forward. He is quite solid. He's obviously very good at centre-half as well, so that's what we've got in. We've got two ball-playing defenders on defend. No personal instructions there. I have seen Upamecano really good at driving into this left channel, which has been really good to see. Now, on the left-hand side, Alphonso Davies, he's made a really good start, actually, in this position. 7.72 average rating, 1 goal, 3 assists. First player instruction, stay wider. Middle two, Kimmich, tackle hard and mark tighter. We want to encourage that ball going into the middle, and we want these two snapping. Kimmich is very good, one of the best players probably in the world in his position. Ideally, I just want him just to sit, support behind the ball, so that's why we've got him on defend. And Leon Goretzka, same thing, tackle harder, mark tighter. Leroy Sané on this left-hand side, inverted winger on support, sit narrower because we want him coming in here a little bit. And Alphonso Davies getting around the outside, tackle harder. Thomas Muller, interesting run. We've got roam from position, tackle harder, mark tighter, excellent without the ball. We want him to roam a little bit, but ideally we want him to work in this right-hand channel. So this is why we've got this little bit of asymmetrical going, just so he can work this channel. Gnabry, winger on attack, no instructions there. And then Lewandowski, nothing as well, complete forward on attack. Brilliant seeing him dropping into these areas. Muller going beyond. Sané supporting. Gnabry supporting as well. It's looked pretty good. It's looked pretty good. Right. Team instructions. Positive mentality. In possession, we're going fairly wide with an overlap on the left-hand side to get Davies going a little bit more, a little bit further. Now, we changed this. At the start of the season, I had it on shorter. And our possession stats were only about 50-55. And then if you look at the possession stats going on 60% or more, I can't remember the result exact. I will put a little picture up now so you can see. So we've moved it down to much shorter just so the team can retain possession a little bit better. No other instructions apart from we're doing low crosses, box occupation. Remember what I said on last week's video. Doesn't mean that there's always going to be a low cross. They will still put balls in the air for Lewandowski to head in, but we're just ideally wanting those cutbacks a little bit more. In transition, counter press, obviously, and counter attack. Distribute checks, short kicks to the fullbacks. Fullbacks want to play out. Can we get that ball to out wide to Alphonso Davies as quickly as possible? Out of possession, standard width, much higher line of defence, and higher line of engagement. Much often trigger press. So not 1,000,001 tactical instructions. I think the main thing is the asymmetrical system and the few little tweaks we've made to player instructions in terms of Pavard, the middle two, Davies and Thomas Muller. Okay, just very quickly moving on to the player instructions. We've got tighter marking on a whole host of players. He kind of does a very aggressive man-to-man, not on the sort of like scale of like Bielsa ball and stuff, but it is quite aggressive. So what we're doing is we're tighter marking the centre halves, get Lewandowski pressing in there. We've got presses on, tight marking for the defensive midfielders, also the midfield three, depending on the role, and obviously the striker. So the striker one is there purely based on when that ball is played out, we want either Upamecano or Nicolas Sula to be really in nice and tight so we can get that wave, that second wave, we can stop the counter-attack. The midfield is because we're trying to drive the ball inside, so when the ball's driven inside, I'm going to show you some clips in a minute. When the ball's driven inside, we want to see players ready to pounce so we can counter press. So Gnabry and Sane will show play inside. Play will pass into them central midfielders, but because we're close, we're tighter pressing, we can win the ball back. So that's why we've got that in place. Tackling harder as well, very aggressive. Kimmich, Goretzka, Muller, all very good without the ball in terms of pressing. So we've got tackle harder on those player instructions as well. And then show on to foot for the wing backs and the full backs. When the full backs get the ball, obviously we're pressing, the two wide men will work. Sane, maybe even a Davis, Gnabry. We want to show them inside because we want to show them into that Kimmich, Muller and Goretzka. We want to show them in there where we've got aggressive tacklers, pressers, and that's where we can win the ball back and then counter. All right, so there is the opposition instructions. I always put it on positions. There's always tweaks to do regarding team shape and stuff, but setting up that as a general thing, you'll be good to go. Okay, so that is all that. Link down in the description to head you over to Football Manager, FM Scout. So download links available there. Right, you want to see how it looks in the match engine, don't you? Let's get into it. Okay, right, here we are. So the first highlight, we're going to score from a low cross from Davies. He's just taken a throw. He's gone back to Upamecano. He's got the ball back. Now, I think if he was starting as a left back, we wouldn't get that overlapping as quick. Sometimes I think that if you ask for an overlap, it slows the play right down. But because we're starting him a little bit higher, I think it does help with him getting that overlap in a little bit quicker. So there he is. He plays it into Lewandowski coming off. There's Kimmich supporting, look. Gnabry out on that right-hand side as an out ball, 1v1. Try and get some of that in at some point. Sané's just come inside, playing off. Look at Davies' his run. Absolutely brilliant. Off goes Davies. Lewandowski's going to get on the end of it. He's played the pass. Low cross. But once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players inside the penalty area. Just what we wanted. Box occupation. Okay, the next other one is another one. Davies ends up scoring an absolute belter. But what we're going to look at here is, because we're sucking the players in and we're driving so many players in and around the penalty area, look, so it's cleared here. But because they're quite isolated and they clear the ball, we've got a 2v1 in here, and it does mean that because we've pulled so many players in, this guy's quite isolated and they're having to launch 50, 60-yard balls in. Muller working that right-hand channel. Kimmich just supporting behind the ball. Davies absolutely blasts it in. But as I said, if we go back 10 seconds... we let the play develop just again. Absolute no support. And because of that, we can keep the pressure up. Another wave of attack. And then Davies. To be fair, the goal is a little bit special. But again, once again, if he was a left back, would his position be a little bit deeper? I think because he's a little bit higher. To be fair, he absolutely smashes it in. But because of the positions, the starting position we have him in, it means he can get into those advanced areas. Right, and another little highlight. As you can see, we've really pinned Hertha Berlin back here. Davies really high position. Kimmich supporting behind the ball. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 players in the box. Players supporting around the outside. Any clearances, it's going to be very, very difficult, once again, because of the press and because we're trying to put as many players in the box as possible. We're making it impossible for Hertha Berlin to come out. And then we could just take our time, spread the play nicely. Alphonso Davies really high, really direct. Cross. Lewandowski does hit the post. He gets the rebound though. But once again, 3, 4, 5 players inside the penalty area. Right, here we go. We're actually going to see a little clip from Upamecano now. Space in front. So I haven't asked him to dribble more, but it must be obviously a player trait. Driving into the midfield, committing a player. He's bypassed 3 players there. And now we've got a little bit of an overload. We can work it. Lewandowski coming off short. Goretzka getting involved. Once again, look at the staggered build-up. Players in different holes. Obviously, you've got Muller and Gnabry's made a run that. He'll obviously come back out of that. He does look. Working it. And then, here we go. Alphonso Davies on the left-hand side. As usual, absolute threat down this left-hand side. If you are going to use this tactic, you really do need to make sure you have a really good left wing-back. There we go. Rebound. But once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... players and any balls. Look at the distance for any sort of counter attack. They're really, perhaps him, if they got lucky with a knockdown, but we've got probably players that can come in and cover, no problem. All right. Okay, here's the next one. Just a little clip to show you of how we can break down possession. We can stop the counter attack. So they're going to head it out here. Look, they've got no one forward. They try and break, but once again, furthest player forward, he's got absolutely no options. We've got counter press on. We're trying to mark tighter some of the positions as well, so it's going to encourage us pressing a little bit harder, a little bit more aggressive. We've got a nice little shape now. We've recovered quite well. We've stopped the counter-attack, and now we're working. Now we're pressing. Lewandowski working hardish. We eventually get the ball. We're working it. We're forcing play inside up, which we want with the opposition instructions. He comes inside again onto his weaker foot. We get a tackle in, and then we're off. Kimmich breaking lines. Lewandowski coming off. It's a brilliant move. And Gnabry, what do? I can't remember how we put this in. Is it a low cross? Of course it is. A bit of a luck with deflection, but the press, stopping the counter-attack, bodies in the box again, low cross is exactly what we've set up in the team instructions and in the player instructions, the opposition instructions. Absolutely brilliant when you get a goal like that. Okay, here's a little clip just to the staggered build-up play. So we've just won a free kick. And as you can see, we've got Kimmich, Goretzka on different lines. Pavard, well, the Pavard rolled inverted wing back and a little bit narrower. We've got Sané coming in. Look at Davies very high. Muller occupying that space. And obviously, Gnabry, you want Gnabry getting these 1v1s as much as possible. And it just gives you the opportunity just to play. Teams that are wanting to set up with a low block, or teams that are trying to set up with a medium block, having players that can get in between lines and half spaces is very important. And once again, Lewandowski come off. Look at Gnabry now. 1v1. I don't think he actually scores. Do we get it to Gnabry? We don't. We work it. There is Gnabry. See, there's Pavard. He's still that Pavard role. He went for an overlap, and now he's sort of like tucked in. Just supporting. Look, there he is getting on the ball. We work it quite nicely. Kimmich has a shot, and it's blocked. Okay, but just a little snippet of how the staggered, the isometric system does, which helps us build up play, just like Bayern do with that little staggered isometrical look. And then once again, here is the staggered build-up. We're just going to play. Kimmich dropping off short, Goretzka in the middle. Look how much space Goretzka's, because they're worried about the defensive midfielders. They're worried about players like Lewandowski coming off. They're worried about Thomas Muller. It gives Goretzka so much room just to, look, he's played it quite simple there, but he would have time maybe to space, to carry, to bring out a midfielder, to engage maybe a midfielder. We work it well again, and it's just constant finding half spaces. Lewandowski's on the move again. We sweep a lovely ball out. Look how high Alphonso Davies is. We get a cross into the box. It's a decent header. Thomas Muller, obviously shadow striker. Gnabry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all in and around the penalty area once again. Impossible for them to break out. Any balls out, we're going to be able to recycle the ball quickly and have wave after wave of attack. All right, boys, that is it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you plug in the opposition instructions as well. Download links down below. Let me know if you want to see me cover another tactic. Let me know down in the comments what tactic you would like me to cover next. At the moment, it's heading towards Claudio Ranieri's Leicester side we're going to be looking at next week. People have been asking for things like Brian Clough and Kenny Dalglish. Them ones are going to take a little bit of time because there's not much footage and videos to sort of like watch and follow, so it's making it a little bit difficult. But if you want to put your suggestions down in the comments, that would be lovely. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. See you later.